So non-black women, this one goes out to y'all today, right? So you see how you have all of these videos going around on TikTok and everywhere else with white women asking, why didn't we listen to the black women? All because they have all of these laws now all over the country coming after their children that are in the LGBT and other situations where now these white women and all other women are subject to having, in certain particular states, especially Florida, due to your lovely Governor DeSantis, they can come in your house and snatch your kids up, right? So now it's this whole spiel that has been said and heard before. Oh, why did we listen to black women? It has nothing to do with listening to black women per se. It has to do with understanding that if you want this country to function the way that it should, with real opportunity and equality for people, you're going to have to put in the fucking work, okay? You can't just think that, oh, because I'm a white woman, I'm going to go along with the patriarchy and white supremacy and I'm going to be fine. Sweetheart, do you not remember where you come from? Do you not remember that before slavery, during slavery, and thereafter, you still had to fight just like the rest of us for rights because you were still a fucking woman, right? Now, I know all of y'all like to run around thinking that feminism was created by white women. It was not, okay? It was created by the black slaves of this country who had had enough. But because black women did not have a voice and they weren't given any power, recognition, or people just didn't give a fuck, when white women said, okay, let's get involved and let's sell out the black women, then things were heard that black women had been saying, fighting for, dying for, killing for hundreds of years before these women even got involved. Like as far back as 1619, there had been black feminism movements for the rights or changes in how black women were being treated. If that's not feminism and a women's movement, you let me know what is. You had people fighting from indentured servitude all the way up to full-blown slavery for humanity and to stop the crimes against humanity. So it's real simple. All you got to do today is stop being a fucking racist. I know you like to call black people racist, but we could never be racist because we're always the victim in this country because this is your fucking system. So in order for the system to change, you got to change. You got to stop being comfortable with living off of the advantages and all of the things that come to you easily without you working for anything for real, okay? Because this system was created to benefit you and your kind only. You got to give that up. You got to give it up. You got to be real with every other type of person, give everybody their fair share. And that's the only way this shit is going to work, because what eventually will happen, and now you have a chance to listen to another black woman again. If you keep sitting by your white men and allowing them to take rights away from the humanity of black people, Hispanic people, Native American people, or excuse me, not Native American, because Africans are Native Americans in this country. So indigenous American Indians, right? And other women of color from other places that come here, you're going to have a full-fledged modern day fucking civil war on your own hands in America. Because if you think people outside of black people are going to keep having you trample on their humanity, keep them from making an honest living, keep them with their children and not allow you to separate them from their kids, come up in their homes and separate them or keep them in Guantanamo Bay and all this ridiculous shit y'all do, you got another thing coming. Now, I know when you had black people in slavery, you didn't consider us human, so you didn't understand the sociology of the whole thing that was happening with us. So it's very hard for y'all to see other people as human beings, but people are not going to stand for that. And let me tell you, your biggest fear, right, is the fear that you think that black people are going to rise up against you and seek out vengeance for all the things you have done to us, think about how bad it's going to be for you when you got everybody else you got to worry about doing the same thing, because you don't know how to do right by anyone. And it's so simple. With people like DeSantis, right? And now this is going out to all of the other women of color who feel like anti-blackness and trying to be like white people is the thing to do. Listen up. Learn something here today, because your ass is going to be next, right up on the chopping block, right? You have people like DeSantis, right, who feel like white is right, everything else doesn't need any rights, doesn't even need to exist, because if it ain't white, it ain't right, right? Now, we all know that's in his mind, because whiteness and all that shit about praising white people, that's for crazy motherfuckers. So if you fall into that category, good for you. You have officially lost your fucking mind. Okay, so anyway, people like him, when it's time to vote, y'all need to vote that motherfucker so far out of office, it's not even funny. Vote him so fucking far, you can see him up in space. That's how far you need to vote him out of office. When it comes to the presidential election, not one fucking one fucking Republican should ever be given a chance to run for president and ever win. I'll tell you why. They believe in white and white only. And that goes for all you Hispanics that come over here with your black hating selves and your anti-blackness, thinking that because your skin is somewhat pale, because you're not white and you don't look white, you think that white people really consider you as one of them. They're going to show you, baby. They're going to show you. They do not give a fuck about you. They're going to try to use you as much as they can, and then they're going to fucking destroy you. Mark my words, because it has been done time and time again in this country, but because you don't know American history, you don't know what has already happened. That is going to come back around and happen again. So, for y'all, what you need to do is you need to realize that now that you have a changing of the guard, so to speak, with the Republicans gaining more traction than Democrats, you're going to come under a lot of scrutiny of laws killing your humanity, killing your freedom, killing your right to be a parent over your own child. You think I'm bullshitting? Just watch it unravel, okay? Because y'all come from cultures where you're taught anti-blackness because you worship whitey so much and you think that that's the way to be, when you shouldn't do either. What you should do is be a person who respects other people, respects humanity, and respects life. Then that way you don't have to take a side. And you would know how to do the right thing when these motherfuckers are doing the wrong thing and asking you to come join us, fuck over the black people. Not understanding that once they do shit to us, we gonna survive. They already know that. There ain't nothing they can do to us where we not gonna survive. We have survived 500 years of them motherfuckers doing stuff to us that none of y'all could survive. You think that little silly shit they do today scares us or threatens us in the least? Because when it comes down to it, we will die for what we believe in. What you gonna do? Okay? Because we've been dying for what we believed in this country the whole fucking time we've been here. That's the reason why there is no more slavery. Not because some fucking white man felt sorry for us. No, because we was busting their motherfucking ass. And they know it. And if it comes down to it again, we will do the fucking same thing again. But you, on the other hand, have to understand that you need to stop being a fool. You need to stop worshiping whiteness and stop trying to assimilate in America and just do the right fucking thing. Do the right thing. Every time in this country, a white person like DeSantis starts playing around with black people, like, he can't really do shit to us when it really comes down to it, right? Like, taking shit out of school, teaching about our history, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's annoying, it's wrong, yes. But let me tell you something. The very next governor that comes behind him, if y'all put in the right governor, can put back every fucking thing this asshole took away. It's that simple. That's the way the law works here in America. So if you really wanted to change shit around in Florida and make things right for people all over in Florida, you know what you would do? You should elect an American Indian who actually is about all the people and not going to be a person to sell you out for money or anything else, who has a strong sense of integrity as your next governor. Or elect a Hispanic person that's going to do the same thing, that's going to look out for all people and not just be looking out for Hispanic people, but do the right thing for black people, everybody. Or elect a black woman, not man, a black woman who is going to look out for all people in Florida, and then you'll be fine. Then you don't have to worry about none of that ridiculous shit these white dudes are trying to do to you, because that person has the right to go into that office and revamp all those fucking laws that have taken away all your liberties and things so far. That's what you need to do. It's really that fucking simple. You can do that in every single state and make America really what it's supposed to be. When you see these white people running around talking about how they want to make America great again, do you know what that really means? That's code language for we white people going to get back on the top, get rid of all of these people, black people and others who are in office that have the ability to stop us from being in ultimate power or in ultimate control of other people. We want to get rid of them. We want the good old boys in this office, that office, and every office in this country, so that white is the major power and everybody else is barely surviving. That's what that's code for. Basically, it's code for going back to Jim Crow or really slavery. And I don't mean the actual act of it. I mean the conditions and the economics of it, where white people were rich as fuck and everybody else was like literally eating out of trash cans, eating whatever whatever they could grow out of the ground, and salvaging shit from the swamp, and road killing, etc. If you think I'm bullshitting, I'm not. That was really how people were living, okay? This is what they're talking about when they're talking about make America great again. When they say shit like that, they want to go back to the days like in the 30s and the 40s where they could walk down the street and bust you in the top of your head with a metal pipe or a metal bat, and kill you, have your brains out on the street, and never go to jail one day for it, never get arrested for it, because that's how shit was here in America, especially down south. You could run people over while they were walking down the street, and you cool with the sheriff, you would never go to jail, never have to answer for it. You could rape children the way that they used to, never answer for it. Kill old people, never answer for it. Run up into people's houses, massacre the whole family, violate the whole family sexually, set the place on fire, and never answer for it. That is what is behind make America great again. So when you hear motherfuckers talking like that, don't think otherwise, because every time they say something like that, they're talking about bringing back some of the most horrific, horrifying, terrifying Ku Klux Klan periods of America. And if you know anything about real history in America, the Ku Klux Klan did not only attack black people, it attacked Jews, it attacked all the new immigrants from wherever they came from, and they especially like to mess with Hispanic people. So if you know anything about the real history of America, when you hear people utter those words, you would want to draw back and punch them in their fucking mouth. But I'm not telling you to do that, because you don't want to go to jail. But that is a motherfucker that is calling for the antebellum South days to resurface in modern day America. That's not a motherfucker you really want to be behind championing. And don't be fooled. They come black, they come white, they come Hispanic, they come every color of the rainbow. I even seen an Indian coon the other day, just before what's his name? My man got fired off of CNN. What's the gay Don Lemon, right? So just before Lemon got terminated, they had the Indian dude on there trying to tell John about his reality, his life experience, or my life experience in America. This Indian man, as if he actually knew something about it. What the fuck would he know about my life experience or the life experiences of black people in the system of this country that goes out of its way to disenfranchise and to always keep black people behind? And any fucking time we rise up to the challenge and we are starting to move ahead, they do everything in their power to knock us down. And for those of you that don't know why, it is because these white people always have lingering in the back of their mind, the middle of their mind, and the front of their mind, oh, we can't never keep our foot up or let our foot up off these black people, because We did so much shit to them in this country in the past and in life and in the history of the world, period. They will really fucking do our ass in if they ever got the chance. It's common sense. If you fucking enslaved people for almost 500 years and then you went out of your way to systematically continue to disenfranchise these people through the infrastructure of the country, where you're giving them poor housing, poor education, lack of money to live their life the way that they should, so that they can open businesses, have businesses, go to school amply, not live in impoverished neighborhoods, etc. And most importantly, make sure that they never come into any type of money that is due them for the damages that you have done to them in this life, in this country, throughout the entire history of this country, but you do it for other people. Like they have a problem with giving black people reparations, but they didn't have a problem giving it to the Japanese people, right? And not just Japanese, all Asian people that they put into the concentration camps during the war with Japan, America and Japan, right? Pearl Harbor and etc., right? They gave it to the Jewish people, right? They gave it to the Native Americans or American indigenous people. Who else did they give it to? It was the Jews, the American Indian, the Asians. That's everybody, except for us. All right? All these people got money for things that was caused on them to suffer, put on them to suffer. But when it comes to us, they're so afraid of us getting in a position to yield any type of power, because they feel like we're going to come after that ass. They do everything to come up with a reason to try to say, oh, they don't need it, they don't deserve it, they're this, they're that, when they are the ones that don't deserve anything. They are the ones that are this, that, and less than human. Who in their right mind would ever treat people who are not less than human the way they did and the way they continue to do to this day? Okay? And make excuses for it. Case in point, and then I'm going to move on and end this video. You see how the other day in New York City, this white veteran dude choked out the black guy on the train who they claim was mentally ill? But did you see how they had two other men on the train, two Hispanic men holding the black man's hands down so that he couldn't get the white guy's arms off his neck or fight back to help himself? All right. That's an example of what I'm talking about. That situation there shows you how any chance they get, they're looking to do something horrible to black people, and then they go out of their way to try to cover it up, and then they have their other kins to try to support it. Like you have now artists, celebrities, etc., pouring into a GoFundMe for this white man who literally choked this man to death, and there's footage of it. Well, it was on the news. I don't know if they're going to show it anymore, because I guess they're trying to hold it as evidence, where some of the people on the train, before he killed this man, told him, you need to let him go. All of y'all need to get off of him, because he's not really moving. It doesn't look like he's breathing, and you can kill him by keeping him in that chokehold. In addition to that, keep in mind, people, that in New York State, in New York City, where that happened, chokeholds are illegal, even for the police. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there has been a long history of the police killing black and Hispanic people like that in this city. The reason the chokehold is illegal in New York City for police and everyone else is because of a young man named Anthony Baez, who many of you don't even know who Anthony Baez is. Shout out to Miss Baez if she sees this video. Much respect to you, ma'am. Thank you for all your work fighting for civil rights and for the respect and the dignity and everything else that came out of your son's death, Miss Baez. So these are the things that they do. And this is why you need to wake up. You need to wake up as a people. All you other women out there, color, all you white women that pretend you want to do the right thing, wake up. Now's your chance, okay? Now is your chance. They already told you when they did, I'm talking about these white men in power. When they took away Roe versus Wade, they already told you in that whole freaking decision that those ridiculous ass Supreme Court members put out, where this is another thing before I say the next thing. Y'all need to get on the fact that in this country, everything could change if there are enough changes to Congress by the demands of the people. If you want them old dusty, dirty, stinky ass old motherfuckers in the Supreme Court to get the fuck out of there and not stay there for a lifetime, it takes certain things to be done by your representatives to vote a certain way to give those motherfuckers term limitations. I think y'all need to start doing that. Okay? You need to start doing that. I think almost everybody needs term limitations now because they get into these seats and they act like they God, and they're not God. There's no man alive that is a God. Not a man, period, because he's not able to bring and put forth or bring life. Okay? So he's not a God in any way. But that doesn't matter. The point is, this is what's happening. So there are ways to change all this. But you got to have hard enough to do it. And you got to get out there and do shit when it needs to be done. Not only get involved with shit because now it is personally affecting you. Because that's the situation right now with all these white women and other women now talking about, oh, this shit is going too far. We should have listened to black women. Yeah, fuck that. You only want to listen to us or should have listened to us now because it's in your home. As black women, the reason why I say y'all need to follow black women, which is to put us in office more than you do everybody else, is because we don't have an outlook like the rest of y'all about this world. I don't have to like an Asian person, Hispanic person, or whatever type of person to do the fucking right thing by them. It is part of who the fuck I am. As an example of Mother Earth, because I'm the beginning of all mankind, I look at everybody as if it is my obligation to do the right fucking thing, because this is my fellow man. Y'all don't look at shit like that. Y'all want to look at the world in the way white man taught you. You can't do that. You got to look at the world the way the universe taught you, which is to love and respect all those that breathe air the same way you do. Period. Which is why no matter how much stupid shit y'all talk about us, about these stupid black motherfuckers on here talking about our attitude and everything else about us, whenever you people actually are privileged enough to get into our world, you learn very quickly that that is not who we are. And that we could not like you, be very fucking upset with you, but we're not like everybody else to the point where we're going to do some tit for tat shit and fuck you up and everybody else like you just because we don't like you. No. If that was the case, we wouldn't have gotten as far along as we did with civil rights in America. Because if you don't know, now you will know. The majority of things that were done in this country was done by the work of black women and the teenagers and young women and children that were brave enough to take a stand when nobody else would. Yes, of course, because we live in a patriarchy in this country, they push the men to the front. But they weren't the ones doing all that hard work as well. Y'all should know it by now. But they never talk about the women and they never talk about the children that have given their lives up as well for all of us to walk around in America the way it is today. So now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to get your ass up and do the right fucking thing, because it is the right thing to do. Not just because the law is coming after you now, or the law is coming after your kids now. That's not how it should be. You should always just be getting up and doing the right goddamn thing, because integrity says you should do the right goddamn thing. So remember that when it comes to DeSantis, he should get nowhere near the presidency. He should never be elected for any office again in this country, because he is anti-American. Anytime people want to only big up white people in this country, they're anti-American. I'm going to tell you why. The people who built this country are black people. The people's blood, sweat, and tears that run through every street and every building that you walk through, building you walk through, street you walk on, is us. Not a white person in sight, okay? Native Americans helped with that as well. They built a lot of the bridges with black people. A lot of us are buried within the walls and columns of those bridges. Okay? So, think about all the realities of this country. Stop falling into this white supremacy and white assimilation type of indoctrinated mindset. See shit for how it really is. If you want this country to truly be about equality and democracy, you got to take it from people who are trying to be fascists and who believe in fascism and want to be the next fucking dictator. That's what these white people are out here doing. So I don't know what y'all are doing, but you better take your asses out to those polls and get rid of DeSantis and every other white person like him that feels like everything for white people and nothing for everybody else. And make this country great again the right way. Well, not again, but great for the first time by giving everybody a real equality and real democracy. Because right now you don't have that. This is fascism heading towards dictatorship. Like, that's what it's heading towards, because if they can't get their way, they don't want nobody to have nothing. And they just afraid because, listen, things that have happened in this country happened less than 100 years ago, which is why they have a problem with being woke, black studies, and etc. Because it's some of these same people that are like 80, 70, almost 90 something today were the same ones a few years ago during the 50s and 60s that was out there doing all that horrific shit you see in the black and white reels. That's why they don't want you knowing that, because it was them. It was them in their true nature in the 1950s and 60s pretending today in 2023 to be kumbaya, we all about everybody. That was them. That was them, their parents and their grandparents acting like goddamn fools with hoods on their head and all type of shit. And that's the reason why they're going out of their way to mess up the definition of the word woke. As a black person, I'm going to tell you, black people created that term in 2012, okay? It just meant to pay attention to everything that's going on around you in this country and stop playing into systems that work against you and take away your right to be enfranchised and to have something in this country. That's what it means, period. Okay? None of that crazy shit they're talking about, because they always try to take things we start as black people and try to redefine it and give it a whole new personality and meaning to benefit them. That's not what woke means, okay? So let's stop all of that. Basically what they want to say is, in order to keep white supremacy and white patriarchy going, we got to do things this way, because we can't allow blacks and other people of color to get any type of equity, because then we will lose control, we will lose power. That's all they want to really say. That's their definition of woke. That's not ours. And we talked about that 2012. The only reason why they're bringing it up now is because it plays into their political agenda. Wake up, y'all. Y'all need to learn to be really woke. See these white people for what they are, like DeSantis, and vote them so far out of office. Like I said, you can see them up in the fucking clouds, okay? Get rid of them. Get rid of them. Or they're going to come down on you hard. I don't know if y'all know it, but for black people, Forbes newspaper and just in general America, they want black people to be 50% destitute by 2030 and completely destitute by 2050. So now think about shit. If they want us destitute, what the fuck you think is going to happen to the rest of y'all that ain't white? You think they're going to give y'all a pass? That has not ever been the history of America, and it won't be the future. Wake up. That's what it means to be woke. Peace out.